like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Keep that shit coming. I like that a lot. Let's get it. Shake it like understand who I is. Not that many gon' do it like this. Bob your head, we can hear my shit, but I'm on my shit. I ain't has no chill. I'm who I are, I'm who I is. Taylor Susan, I play the part. Fuck a fire, how you mesmerize. Black Austin Pies, man of the eye. I'm stupid, then again, oh so clever.
Welcome back to an episode of TDG. I am Sean, your host. We took last week off for Mother's Day, but we're back in Studio B. Stands for Studio Basement. And as you can see, I have some lovely guests on the couch tonight. We're starting a little bit late because we want to. So deal with it. Thanks for joining us. If you guys are just joining us now or just hopping into the room, make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button. Helps out a lot. And also make sure you're hitting that like button and the bell to notify when we go live and when we post anything new. So as we usually do, we're gonna start with introductions. I'm Sean, 41, work for the government. This is my side hustle, blah, blah, blah. So to my left, we have, and I'm single still. And to my left.
My name is Brittany Renee. I am a 37 years old and single. I make dreadlock extensions and other hair art sculptures, and you can find me at Curlylocks LLC on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
And I'm Renee. I am 38 and I work in IT as well. Not for the government, but closely aligned. But that's all I do right now. And also I'm still single-ish. Single.
Still in a situationship?
Not really anymore, but I don't know what's happening. So that's why I say ish, because we just don't talk really.
Why don't you just replace?
Because I don't have the energy right now, it takes work to find somebody else.
Does it though?
But yeah.
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 Does it though?
I feel like I've been trying.
Yeah?
I have, yes.
I stopped. And then I was like, maybe I'll try a little bit. And then I was like, nah, never mind.
Before we get to you, I'm sorry.
Oh.
No, actually, no.
I'm Ashley. I'm 34. I'm married and I have several cats. That's my claim to fame.
Cat Lady Supreme.
Yeah.
All right. So, like you said, you are Ashley. You're married. I'm sorry. How old are you?
34.
34. All right.
The baby of the group.
Yeah. And a couple of cats.
Yeah.
4 cats. 2 chains.
Yeah.
Before we hop into these questions, and before it does in any way further, I'm going to hop back over to Brittany about you trying and not succeeding. I think everyone wants to know what you've been doing to find a man that you can't find a man.
Well, I'm on several dating apps, 2 of which I am paying for.
Whoa. How much we talking here?
That's real trying when you pay.
Totally.
It is.
40, 50.
I was going to ask if I can guess.
Do you know how expensive Bumble is?
Yeah.
You pay for Bumble?
Sometimes it's beneficial
Actually,
to pay.
wait, I'm not paying for that one right now, although I'm thinking about it because it's so easy. Because like if you already have, sorry, Sean, 650 matches that you can't see,
Yeah.
it's easier just to know who
Why don't
already
you
likes
swipe
you.
right some more?
Because they put so many people.
Just keep swiping right. You'll get to them.
But here's the other thing.
Sometimes I'll swipe for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And it's just exhausting.
And some of them aren't
no.
real. They're accounts that people just don't go back to. So
Mhm.
sometimes you might swipe that you like them and not find out for 90 days.
I
or more.
recently was talking to somebody who I was very interested in, and he lied about his weight.
Dang it.
He also sent me a picture of his license, which I didn't ask for. Like,
Why?
because I told him I was going to do a background check because I do background checks.
You should.
And he wasn't
Yeah.
he wasn't freaked out about that conversation. But then he sent me his ID, and I looked at the picture, and
What?
It
he was
didn't
a
look
lot
like him?
heavier in that picture.
Was it his driver's license?
Yes.
That could
Was
be
it-
old. My driver's license
I was
picture's
gonna
like
ask
from
that.
10 years ago. They never updated.
I don't think I look like my driver's license picture. Not in a bad way. It just doesn't look like
See,
me.
this is what we talk about the dating world. Women just see one little thing that could be off, and they're like, "Nope, I'm out."
But he also
This
told me he was going to marry me. Like we had one conversation.
Oh.
Like there's just a lot of red flags.
But you
Yeah.
said you stopped because of the picture, because he looked
it was
heavier.
the picture. It was the him. Like I don't want to fumble this. I'm gonna marry you. And it
Well,
was just. It was.
Ooh,
Back
too
to
much.
the
It was too
picture.
much.
Yeah.
When was the last time you updated your driver's license picture?
Mm.
If you,
See,
Sorry, I just thought all the way through it and realized you already made your point, so I don't even want to answer. I'm
But
about 20 pounds heavier on my driver's license picture that I took 5 years ago.
Exactly.
but did you check how long ago is like the expiration?
You can't tell.
Okay.
I've had the same picture for like the last 2 licenses. So whenever you
Oh,
got to
not
update
me.
them,
They keep having me take a picture for some reason.
they mail me mine. I never go in.
Really?
Yeah, they send it in the mail.
Oh no, the past 3 that I've had 3 different pictures. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, well, wait. Yeah, I have different pictures too.
Yeah, see?
20 something in my picture actually. I have my old
What?
too. Yeah, I'm like 20
I have my
something.
old one too.
Yeah, I got like 3 licenses.
I wonder if it's like a thing of where like they see you in person, they're like, we should do this again. Oh, ouch. But no, I mean, I get why you would say, oh, he's not looking the same as like if he sent his driver's license and he looks very different, not very different, but even a little different, or lie about his weight. Why are you lying?
Why
Just
don't you
tell
ask
me.
for a selfie, a video?
I mean, I can check my messages. I'm pretty sure he did tell me his weight, and then I was looking at his height, and I was like, wait a minute.
How tall is he?
Is he tall?
No,
Okay,
no,
good.
he's
Okay.
like
See?
5. You know what, let me look. Let me look. Y'all keep talking amongst
Yeah, please do.
yourselves.
Well, cause okay, so I did when I said I was going trying again. I went back to one of the apps and then gave my number to somebody just to keep having conversation. And the first thing he sends is 2 pictures of himself, and then he goes, "Why don't you send me 2 of yours?" And I'm like, at first I was like, "That's weird," but then I thought about it, and it's to make sure that I am who I am.
Yeah.
At first I was like, I don't want to send you anything. I just said, "Hey, here's my number now," and it's too fresh. But then I thought about that. So at first I was a little weirded out, but it made sense.
Yeah, because
I don't see him on here anymore, but I know he was under 5'8".
is that too
He was
short for
probably
you?
5'7".
That's just not
No,
tall.
it was compared to his weight, so I think he did tell me his weight.
Okay.
And see, it's just little things. If you lie about little things, then what else won't you
Right.
lie about? That's
Mhm.
where I would come from with
And
that.
also, if you're going to truly connect with somebody, the past and present and future versions of them are versions you should be somewhat attracted to. So if you see that past version of him and go, it's not for you.
I mean, I was thinner when I was younger. I put on some weight since then. Plus, COVID didn't help any. But I'm slimming back down. Lost 30 pounds.
Oh.
Right. um. But yeah, I mean, I've been told that I look better now. I don't know if they were comparing me to my picture now. Than what I am now. But people can look different and people can look better as they get older. I mean, y'all should know. Y'all always seem to think y'all look better as you get older.
I feel like I look exactly the
I
same.
feel like I peaked last year, and now I'm on the steady decline. Yeah.
I feel slightly that way, but I'm also like I still look the same. Like I thought I would look better as I got older, and I still look the same. So I'm kind of like,
Black don't crack.
yeah, I'm just not impressed with myself because I just look the same. I'm not impressed.
What about you, Ashley? Have you changed as much over the years?
I have, but I think I've just sort of evolved into who I wanted to look like anyways.
Mm.
So it
Well,
wasn't that I was trying
That's
to
what
run
I
away
wanted.
from it.
Yeah.
Like I had to learn how to do my makeup the way I wanted. I had to learn what hairstyle I wanted. I had to learn how I wanted to dress. I mean, even my tattoos, I had to curate this person that I was pleased looking at. So I do think I've gotten hotter as I get older, and I think I'm gonna be a really hot old lady. So.
Avatar.
All right, so here's
Yeah.
the question then. At what age do you think that your hotness is going to peak?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna
Hey, it's a
probably be
question.
my hottest in my 50s
That's a
because
good
You know
answer.
this is on the internet, right?
It's
okay, check back when I'm 50. I think just because there's a certain like hotness is not just your physical appearance. It's the way you carry yourself. And the older I get, the more confident I get, the more comfortable I get. I'm too old to be bullied, so I don't really care what you think about me. I'm going to do whatever I want to do anyways. And that certain like, well, I am who I am, take it or leave it, is really appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Does others' perception of you filter into your hotness?
Not really.
No.
Um
So it doesn't
I
matter
think
what someone thinks.
previously when I was younger, it I definitely felt like such a pull to look a certain way because I wanted people to perceive me a certain way. But now I want my appearance to draw in the people that it draws in. So I use my appearance to just draw in whoever is attracted to that. I mean, I'm married, so I don't really need that. But like whoever likes what they see.
Humble brag.
I already got it, but
Yeah, now, but whoever likes what they see, if you want to be friends with me or whatever, for aesthetic reasons. Like I pull in a lot of women because I do makeup and because they like the makeup that I do. They want to talk about beauty, skincare, whatever. So, yeah, I don't care though to look a certain way to attract a certain crowd anymore. I just want, what flows.
yeah, I feel that because that's what I do. I just one day I want to wear jeans, sweatpants, dress. So I just do it, and whatever. Like I'm not trying to appeal to anyone but myself. Like if
Yeah.
I feel good, then that's all that matters.
So, Sean, when do you think your hotness is going to peak?
I'm
When are you gonna get there?
already there. I'm already there. Just getting better. Fine wine over here. Fine. No, because I do think it's a little bit different. Well, I know it's different for men and women. Because I think most guys, as they're growing up, they're kind of gangly, kind of weird, kind of off-putting, and you grow into yourself as a man, um, and that tends to track as far as like dating. So when you're like in your early, teens to early 20s, you're not really pulling down any chicks unless you're genetically blessed, and I mean facially, not any other way, but I guess that helps too. Um, but the thing is, as you get older, at least this has happened for me, as I've got older, dating has become a lot easier, and I don't have to try as hard. It's a lot. Women come to me now, and it's nice. I'm not saying,
And since 3 months ago?
hey, I'm not saying they're beating down my door, but it's 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 markedly easier.
I do think though women at a certain point are not afraid to engage with men anymore. I will say, like my younger years, I wasn't chasing after anybody. I wasn't like, oh, I like you. That didn't feel like anything that I would have done.
There's a power shift that happens.
Yeah.
Where I think that after women hit a certain age, they start realizing, okay, I probably do need to start reaching out a little more, making a little bit more of an effort, and telling this guy, hey, I'm interested. Hey, how you doing? Whatever it is. Whereas when you're teens and 20s, you don't have to. You've got a never-ending line of guys coming to you, wanting to talk to you, wanting to be with you, and everything else. So it like I said, it changes. It's been on the internet as far as like the graphs they have, and I forget the graph is called or the chart is called, but it's a little like an X where there's not a certain age, but yeah, there's a certain age, but not a specific age, certain age where a man's attractiveness and his desirability it's going up while women's is going down. Don't hate me, that's just the way it is. Um, and I think it's up to women. This has been said a lot to while you're in your prime years, lock something down, because it's not going to get any easier as you get older.
I don't want to
That's
just
what you
lock
concluded
something
from
down. I want to find the right person.
I
don't
will
wanna
say
just
it
lock
doesn't get
something
easier,
down.
but
I
I'm
wanna
not trying to
find the
lock
right
down it.
person.
It's
The
Right.
thing is, a lot of women they tend to have the right persons, orbiting around them when they're younger, and for whatever reason, you guys don't tend to pick those guys.
You think when you're a young lady and you're in your late teens to early 20s, you've got the right person buzzing around you, but you're just too young and dumb?
Yeah.
I would have
Yes.
picked the wrong person though because I
Ugh.
didn't know myself at the time, and then I would have ended
Right.
up with somebody and realized like I'm not even that person that I was when I met that person,
And I
and
I
I don't
think
even
that's
want that.
being
think
two
like
different people because of time
Mhm.
matters. Like I thought I picked the right person, but then I'm a different person.
But here's the thing though. What helps you pick the right person is family. We don't do that anymore. And a lot of times, hold on, come your
I was like,
well,
oh no,
because
nobody helped
whether you
me.
have brothers, sisters, mother, and father, if you bring someone over, they're gonna tell you like, "Oh, I didn't like him. There's something off about that boy," and vice versa with the girls. Like, no, I don't think that's the right person. But a lot of times we don't have those conversations with our family to help us discern who we should be dating. And a lot of times, like it's back to the old times where a father would help you choose your mate because a father was a boy. He knows what boys go through. So he can see the bullshit and be like, no, that's not the boy you want. He's playing games with you. So no, send him on his way. But as we also know, a lot of people, men and women, when you're told not to do something, you do it anyways. And I see you smirking over there. It's like, did I hit a chord? You did this thing?
I mean, you can also be with somebody who you're very compatible with. Like my last relationship, Jamar and I were really good together, but it's
Dropping
just
names. Just kidding.
oopie.
What if he's watching?
but it just wasn't right.
Why
And
wasn't it right?
well, one, we wanted different things. You wanted more kids. I didn't. Also the way that I live my life so free and like I never know where money's coming. So most people don't want to deal with that. But
So,
also there was just
have you found yourself yet?
yes.
Okay. What,
But also there just was no like romance with us. It just felt more like friends.
I will say that is the one thing that I've been struggling to find is romance. It's usually we like each other, whoever I am
Mhm.
involved with,
Mhm.
but the romance doesn't exist. But I'm also like, does does it have to? I don't know that
I
it
mean, I
has
could have
to.
made it work with Jamar and been very happy.
Right.
But
And that's where I am is like I can
he says
make
no.
things work. I can settle per se, but I kind of want the romance. And if the romance doesn't happen, then kind of not as interested anymore.
Now, I'm happy you brought that up because this is a question I've had that we haven't had a chance to actually explore. And we're going to go around and answer the question, what is romance to you? And on top of that, part B, which is the more romantic sex?
Hmm.
So,
I need more time to process.
ah,
I will give my initial thoughts, but as far as like the most romantic sex, I think social media wise, men are usually portrayed as the more romantic. They make the
trade or R?
I've not met any, so I can't say. So I've never gotten the rose petals to a room or like a extravagant whatever. I've not gotten anything special for me, and that's what I would judge as romantic. Like if somebody took the time to think,
Mhm.
Renee would really love this. Or even I like flowers. I don't like that they die, but there's other ways to give someone flowers that are not going to die. Like there's if you've thought that far, I don't like dead flowers, then
Mhm.
you have other options. If you've thought that far into who I am, that's romantic to me. And I have not had that yet with any of the people that I've been with. Even being married for as long as I was married, there were sweet things, but there was no romance, I don't think. But I do see that men are usually portrayed as a romantic one. They set up candlelit dinners, they buy a ring and propose, they set up all these extravagant
I'm backing up from that.
back up. Just saying what I see on social media and like TV.
Backing up, I was just moving close to my mic. But do you think that men are portrayed online as, or you're seeing them as the more romantic one because society expects that from
Yes.
them?
So that's why I'm saying I don't necessarily agree with it, but I do think that that is what we see. That's what's put out there is
Yeah.
that the men are supposed to be romantic.
Mhm.
I think women can be romantic. I don't think that there's one particular sex that should be.
Mhm.
I think we equally can do things for each other that is romantic. I just think that we rarely see women doing it in public social settings.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, what was the first part of the question again? I couldn't remember.
What is romance to you? Like,
Okay. So I would say romance to me is doing something for someone with the intention that they'll enjoy it. When you first meet somebody, you don't know them. So you're kind of like fumbling around in the dark trying to figure it out. For example, when I met my wife and we went on our first date, I had never been on an official date with a woman. And I didn't know, I was like, do women give each other flowers? And I didn't know anybody to ask. So I wound up buying her a candle because I remember seeing her light candles in our FaceTime.
That's romantic.
She was over the moon over this small candle I picked up from Walgreens. She loved it so much and it meant so much to her. Um so for me, romance with her, like on our first date, I'm the kind of person that I don't like to speak up if I'm uncomfortable necessarily. I'm getting better at it, but when I got in her car, her seat was up a little bit. And I was just like not going to touch it because I only need to get to my car. It's not like we're doing a road trip. And she just knew that I was uncomfortable and she just reached under the seat and flicked the seat back and it shifted and she was like, "You good?" And I was like, I was so turned on by that, but it was so romantic because she was thinking about my comfort,
yeah.
which had nothing to do with her.
Mhm.
There was no skin off her nose if I was uncomfortable in her seat. Um, as someone who's been in hetero relationships and in, a homosexual relationship, I would say that it's hard to say if one gender is like more inherently romantic. men, based on the way Western culture is moving, are looking to do romance to get something out of said romance.
Mm.
So it's almost like a token you put in, you get a soda out of the machine. So it's more intentional in terms of I want to get something out of it, whereas women are doing things just for the connection piece. Now, that's not to say that there's not outliers, but a lot of times women's romance looks like domestic labor. I'll
Mhm.
cook for you, I'll clean for you, I'll make sure that your space is peaceful for you by organizing it, putting pretty flowers up or little things like that. And then there's of course the intimacy that you don't necessarily see get branded as intimacy in terms of just intimate talks,
Mhm.
sitting down, having real discussions with each other, listening to each other's past, listening to each other's trauma, their hopes, their fears, and like validating that and honoring that. That's a really intimate romantic thing that doesn't get talked about a lot. We think of romance in terms of capitalism. How big of a bouquet of flowers can you get? This teddy bear thing or something on the beach, a dinner on the beach. Like, that's not even practical all the time,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, practicality doesn't always, play into romantic gestures. I do want to kind of rewind back a little bit on something you said about men being romantic or not being romantic, as far as them doing it to get something out of it.
I would
What's
like to add something first. I'm sorry. I just feel like if I don't interrupt, then I never get to speak.
okay? Go ahead.
And I know I'm gonna lose my thought. So when you first asked, like, what is romance? I was like, wait a minute, because I didn't know how to answer, because that's not quite what I meant when I was talking about my last relationship.
Mhm.
And then when I was thinking about it, I was like, romance to me is like when you want to do the deed with that person. Then I was like, okay, so romance to me is like anything that person does that makes you want to drop your panties. And so for women, that looks like house chores and stuff. But I feel like for men, like,
What is that for men?
is it getting in lingerie? Like, what is it? What does romance look like for men?
Because that's what I think men see as romance is.
You mean to receive romance from a woman?
Yeah, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That's a very good question, because I have never experienced. I don't think I've ever experienced romance from a woman.
So,
So I've been
Because to me,
one
when
on
I
the
was
street.
when I was thinking about romance, I was thinking about like romantic feelings, and for us, it was just
Yeah.
like we were friends.
Romantic
And then I
gestures.
realized that it's I like what can people do to make you want to make you feel that way?
right.
And then I was like,
That's the way I was thinking of it too. More so like, what are you doing to pull me in?
yeah. So for me, it would probably be like conversations or really
Mhm.
paying attention, like y'all were talking about.
So, Sean, you've never had like a woman bathe you
Oh.
or give you like a face mask or something and be like, let's play spa? Because that's an example of
Those would be things
intimacy.
that I would do to.
I feel
Oh,
like we would find that romantic, but the guy wouldn't really find
Right.
that
It's
romantic.
not
Be
that I wouldn't find it romantic.
surprised.
I've never
Yeah.
had it.
So
You
like
know,
back massages or massage
yeah,
in
things
general,
like
because
that.
those are the things. Yeah.
Usually those came
Like,
with caveats, like if I give you one, I want this, or if you
Aw.
give me that, or it was never like just out of the goodness of their heart, really.
That's
It was
Aw,
to get
that's
so
as you
sad.
were saying, to get something out of it.
That's so sad.
that is sad. 'Cause
Well, I brought it up because Gucci Man talked about his wife and how one of the things that separated her from the other women he had been with was that she bathed him one day. They were in the shower together and she took her time and she really took care of him, not in a sexual manner, but just in a I
Let me
see you
take
and I
care.
care for you
I
type
had somebody do
way.
that, and it
Right.
turned the attraction off completely because it
Really?
felt
Well, yeah, people can do it
very.
wrong.
Yeah.
It just felt
Go
With a
wrong.
scrubbing tool,
just
piece of
felt
Brillo pad.
very like childish.
Mhm.
Like I felt like I was being bathed by a
Like
parent.
somebody's being.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
like it very
Yeah,
much.
I can see that.
You
I.
gotta set the mood. You need some
Yeah.
candles, and you dim the light a bit.
Yeah.
Have some Sade playing in the background.
And see, for me, the talking, bathing would be like those are things that I like. It's intimate, but it's also romantic.
Hmm.
And I think I misspoke. I have had romance, just not what's the word? It hasn't led to a full relationship. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're romancing each other because we want to maybe be together, but it's not been like
Mhm.
we're together. Now we're gonna do romantic things. It like dies down when you get together, which is sad. But I also don't know if the things that I did was romantic to the guy. So maybe I was wrong.
But were you trying to be romantic at least?
Yeah, like for me, like I said, it's the thought that goes into it. I've put thought into what I'm going to do for them because maybe they had a hard day. They work hard. Massages are one thing that I'm like, okay, if the guy I'm with has had a hard day,
Yeah.
I'm going to offer a massage. You don't have to do anything. Just lay here and be at peace. And that to me feels like romance to the guy, but I've never asked. So maybe that's my problem. I haven't asked if that was romance to him.
And I think as women, though, that things like that get marketed as romance. I mean, Destiny's Child has that song "Cater to You," and in it, they're talking about running his bath water, cooking for him, taking off his
Keeping their
do-rag,
body
taking off
right
his
and tight.
shoes.
The
Yeah,
people
like,
that you
all
fell
of
in love
these
with.
things. So that has been marketed as romance. And I think, when we see the conversations about, women wanting flowers and then men chime in and y'all want your flowers too, it's like there definitely is probably some space for both genders to have a deeper conversation about what romance looks like for them
Yeah.
and to bridge that gap.
Yeah, because I can honestly say I don't know what romance means to any of the guys that I've been with. Because we've never had the conversation of, was that romance for you? Did that appeal to you? Like, was that?
That's funny you say that. I mean, because to me, I'm like, why don't you have like a perception of what romance would be to a guy?
Well, I have a perception, but I don't know if it's accurate.
Okay, so what's your perception?
My perception is, like I said, massages and like offering to have you not have to handle anything. I will take care of you. I will feed you. I will uh, bring you whatever you asked for. You can stay here and I'll take care of you. That's what my perception is of romance for a guy because it's what they want. Housewife is what I think.
I think an easy definition of romance, or a dumbed down definition, would just be something that you do for your partner that's outside of the norm
Mhm.
that they would really appreciate.
Yeah.
I think that's like the easy dumbed down version of romance.
It's a-
If you're just gonna, he comes home, you cook him dinner, that's just, or whatever, you prepare his clothes. Yeah, that's a nice gesture. It could be a romantic gesture, but it's your everyday kind of, you know. But something like he comes home and like, hey, I drew you a bath. And you put some special
Yeah.
things in the water to help with the skincare and such like that, you know. That could be considered romance,
See,
you know.
that's hard because both of those things are things that I would do on a regular, like,
You wasting that much water? Just kidding.
yeah, yes, I will run a bath every day if it makes you feel good. Like, that's
Yeah.
the thing is,
Now I'm worried about the bills. So that's not make me feel better.
if you're worried
Wait a
about the
minute, I'm
bills,
paying the
well,
bills.
no, kind of. But yeah, no, that's always hard because I've never had the conversation with someone that I'm with,
Hmm.
and I think that's what makes a difference. I think that I'm doing it because it's something that they would want,
Yeah.
but I don't ask, and I should ask.
Well, now you know.
Now I
Next
know.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And knowing's
What does
half the
romance
battle.
look like for you?
Yeah, I like for me, the thought is all that matters. Like if you actually put forth real thought in something for me, even if you do it every day or once in a while, that's romance to me. If it's every day you're gonna cook me a meal, because I don't cook every day. I don't like to cook. So that's why I said the meal thing. If I'm making you a meal, it matters because
I feel like we're in love language territory.
yeah, definitely. Because acts of service is my love language, and those are romantic gestures to me.
Okay. Did you guys have anything else to say about that, or no? We
No.
pretty much well talked out.
Did you say what you expect when you're
Ask
expecting
before I
romance?
interrupted you.
I don't feel like we fully
What
understood
romance?
what you expect when you expect romance from a partner or someone.
It kind of goes back to my definition, my dumbed down definition. Just something that's done out of the ordinary that isn't, standard. Um, that I could say like this is different. She's trying hard, or she put a lot of effort into this. Now, if you like I said, I love food, love to be cooked for, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's romantic. I wouldn't say it falls in the category of be romantic. Yeah, you want to cater to me, make sure I'm eating healthily. Is that a word?
I think so.
Is it?
I feel like it is.
Well, if it isn't, it is now.
No.
You know what? Miss
Eating
Deborah
healthy.
Collins.
She is healthily.
um yeah, I mean, it would just be something that's different that I'm not getting every day. That would signify to me that's romance. Maybe it's just that's too simple of a definition, but maybe it's because I'm a simple man.
I like that definition though, because especially the element of it's something that you don't normally do. Like when you get into a relationship and you live together, life becomes mundane quickly.
Mhm.
So you need to find ways to spice it up.
Right.
You need to find ways to keep that connection alive. Like My wife and I went to the grocery store 1,000 times together. And one time we separated to get different ingredients and we came together in the egg aisle and we held each other and we danced and we kissed. And it was so gay. But it was so and it wasn't planned. It just was. We saw each other and we're like, oh, we missed each other, And it's like,
Cute.
that's not guaranteed to happen every time,
Mhm.
but that was just a nice moment.
Do you think the eggs kind of facilitated that?
They're expensive, so if you buy me a dozen eggs, I don't know. I'll do some things.
I'm with you. I mean, whew. Send me a carton.
This has me really thinking about romance now. It's like, how many times have I been romanced? Or maybe now in hindsight, I'm just thinking I wasn't romanced, but maybe I was.
So leave it in the comments, guys. If you guys are watching right now, what is romance to you? And which sex do you think is the more romantic sex? So we're going to be hopping on to something. I'm prepared something a little bit different. Hopefully this
Oh
works.
gosh. He did not prepare us.
We are going to be viewing 3 videos. They're relatively short. And we're gonna kind of talk about them. So hopefully the audio works.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. We got to the biggest fight we've ever gotten into, ever, over our toilet water.
I need some.
You tell me if I'm overreacting, because I really don't think I am.
Yes, I'm that.
Okay, so here's what happened. Every single time I go out of town, my husband's incredible. Like, I travel a lot for work. I come home. He's so great about cleaning the house, doing the laundry, keeping up with the kitchen. The house is always immaculate when I come home. Somehow this man.
I'm gonna stop this for a sec. Oops, that doesn't end the feed.
Fix it, IT man.
No, I think we're still live. It says live down there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Still there.
I don't know. I can't see anything.
I can see symbols.
Okay. Yeah. So
That's perfect timing.
we got the audio, but these. Odd. All right, we're not going to do the clips tonight.
Ooh.
I was looking forward to whatever that was.
We don't have an engineer tonight, so I don't want to get up and
Ah,
start messing with the
gotcha.
computer. So maybe next week. I'll have them for you guys next week.
I'll be ready because I want to know what she was saying.
Print them out.
Is that?
Print.
All right. So I'm going to ask a question here. And as we always do, we're going to answer the best we can. So what role does mental health awareness play in how we approach, maintain, and end relationships today? A bit of a loaded question.
Very, very loaded question.
So I'm gonna say, because I've talked to people recently who needed to work on their mental health, and I feel like it's super important, because if you're not in a mental space to evaluate yourself, then how can you focus on a relationship? But yeah, because one of the situations that I was in was like I always wanted to do something, but they were never in a good enough mood to hang out or go out. It was like, yeah, today's not it's a rough day. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what are you doing to take care of yourself or help get out of that mood? Like, do you want to do something so you feel better? Well, I don't. There's nothing really I want to do. So like, where's your self-care, self-evaluation? Like, what are you doing mentally to not stay in this place?
Mhm.
And how can you continue a relationship with me if you aren't feeling good about you? Like,
Right.
I don't think that it's possible to have relationships if you're not working on yourself.
Mhm.
That's my opinion.
Now, kind of side question. Do you think everyone needs therapy?
No. I think that therapy is not necessarily supposed to be something you're consistently going through. I think if you've gone every once in a while, that's good. But I think if you can look into yourself, evaluate your situations, what you go through, how you handle your emotions,
Right.
that can be sufficient.
I agree.
Exercising can also be sufficient for
Yeah.
therapy. Like, it doesn't have to be talking to a therapist or a psychologist or anything like that. But as long as you're doing something
Mhm.
to help yourself through life, because
Yeah.
life isn't easy,
It's not.
then you could be okay.
Yeah.
I think therapy works for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. So I'm never ever going to push someone towards therapy if it's not going to work for them. But I will push them towards finding something that is good for them.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I think also, like, I mean, they say if you're a narcissist, you're not supposed to go to therapy because they will take what they learn and they will just weaponize it against everybody.
Mhm.
So therapy in its
But what if you don't know
tradition,
you're a narcissist, though?
well, that's a problem. But therapy in its traditional form isn't always what's necessary.
Mm.
Sometimes it's just self-awareness,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's people
And
who aren't very self-aware, aren't very
yeah,
logical,
yeah. And not
aren't
only
emotionally regulated.
being aware of how you feel, but aware of how you make other people feel
Yep.
as well. Like this generation has come into a huge thing with, taking care of yourself, therapy, and that's wonderful because they're starting conversations that we never had in our generations. But you're also kind of seeing a shift towards people taking their own mental health and using it to harm other people,
Mm.
isolating other people, and acting as if their mental health is more important than others. You're just kind of
Yeah.
seeing people play around with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like in a relationship, it is important to continuously be working on yourself. When I met my wife, I started doing Reiki. Now I started doing Reiki for another reason, but it completely changed who I was as a person in terms of it unlocked things that were locked away. It helped me be more verbal
Mm.
with my then girlfriend. And in the beginning, I would just shut down and I was locked inside myself and I
Yeah.
couldn't, I wanted to talk to her and I wanted to share things, but I literally physically could
Yeah,
not do it.
people don't understand that, and it's like I
Yeah.
want to speak, I can't. I just
Yeah.
cannot make the
Yep.
words come out of my mouth, which
Yeah.
I don't get like that anymore either. Like,
And
Same.
then
Same.
I went to Reiki because I watch White Lotus and I love spa things. And I saw Jennifer Coolidge's character was doing Reiki and I thought, okay, it's kind of like a little bit of spiritual therapy. I think I could do that. And I found a lady in Frederick. She's amazing. She works out of her home. And the company's called Lily's Loft. So shout out to them. They're incredible. And she's just done wonders for me. Like there's just a piece that has allowed me to be a better person for myself as well as for my wife. And if you're dealing with mental health issues, it's really irresponsible to pull someone into your orbit
Mm.
and force them to deal with it because if they ignore it and if they say I don't care, then they're then they're the bad guy, right?
yeah,
But at some point you do have to step away. Like there was a guy I was talking to at one point and he was just trauma dumping in my Snapchat DMs. It was weird. And I was like, "Hey, I didn't sign up for this." And that sounds horrible coming from me, but at the end of the day, it's true. You need a real professional, and I'm not that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to let you go on your way. And he was a little bit upset, but he seems like he's doing okay now.
I do feel like that's important too when you're seeking a relationship to be able to say something to that, like to someone like that, because sometimes they don't know. They don't know how much they could use help or how much they're putting on another person.
Hmm.
And relationship is not supposed to be to trauma dump on each other. It's not supposed to
Right.
be let me dump all my feelings on you. That's not what it's supposed to be. So I appreciate that because not
Yeah.
everybody will do that. They'll just be like, okay, and then ghost disappear. Won't talk to him anymore because he's got too much going on. It's like no.
Yeah. And it's like I can understand that I know myself. I'm the kind of person that makes people open up. People share a lot with me, and I can handle a lot, and that's fine. But what he was doing felt like it didn't even matter if I responded or not.
Mm.
Like it didn't
He's
matter
just
if I
talking
was there.
at
He's
you.
just blah blah blah, blah verbal vomit. Yeah.
Britt, you got anything on this, Britt?
I forgot what we were talking about.
Mental health, if it's
Um,
important in a relationship, or there was a lot more to
nothing.
it.
Yeah, it was a very loaded question. Now I remember. No, I don't have anything to add.
Nothing.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna skip to the next question then, because I really didn't have an answer for this either. Only because I don't.
Oh, I just wanted to add that I think therapy, that's what we're talking about, can be good. Like sometimes I wonder if had I gotten therapy when I was earlier, if I would have come to all the realizations and stuff that I came to later in life. Like maybe I
Mhm.
would have been able to fix myself earlier.
I do wish I did go earlier than I did because
Hmm.
I feel like I would have saved my ex from a lot and myself.
Mhm.
But I do think that we don't always know.
Yeah, some of us can get there by ourselves, but
Mhm.
it doesn't. But also, therapy was so different. Like I remember when I went to therapy in my 20s, and it's like I was like, "What even is this? This is not." Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with what Renee said that, therapy works for some people. It's the right avenue for some people. It's not for everybody. I don't think I'm one of those people that needs therapy. I feel like I can work through my problems just fine. I feel like I have the tools to do so. But I also would say I wouldn't be opposed to going to therapy or trying it out. But I don't think me personally, I'd get much from it. Mental health awareness it's a real thing. But since I grew up in the 80s, I tend to lean and think that it's not. But I know it is. I know it is. It's my 80s brain thinking because back then you just figured shit out, you know?
Oh, I was told push it down back then.
There it is.
Suck it up.
That's what it is. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it I think we have gotten softer where the point what I'm saying is we don't figure out we don't want to figure out our own problems more. We want to be told what our problem is
Yeah.
and how to fix it instead of exploring ourselves and get to
Mhm.
know ourselves and figuring out what it's gonna take to feel right, to
Yes.
feel whatever you decide is normal for you. And there's a certain balance to that. Now, like I said, I think that we're in a time where people are a lot weaker and they will be told what to do. I think we're able to get back to that where your self-reliance and self-introspect and self-awareness plays a huge part in being able to figure all that stuff out. But I think we're in this age where we want things now, 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 and we want to be given things now, 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 instead of working for things now, 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 and
Also, having a
achieving things.
diagnosis is trendy.
Yeah, yeah, because I
Exactly.
didn't get diagnosed for nothing growing up. Like, you'll be fine. Just like
Mhm.
walk away. It's like, okay, I will be fine, I think,
Mhm.
I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
But yeah, I feel like people are babied now.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
immensely.
yeah.
And no one takes a responsibility or accountability for things
Uh
anymore.
that
Yeah.
goes along with mental health though. If you can't take accountability or responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
you need to look at yourself and see
Right.
why you can't accept that you had a hand in something.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't take a constructive criticism either. That's a
Right.
big red flag.
Yep.
Yeah. And I like what you said about people want to be told what's wrong with them now,
Mm-hmm.
rather than doing the work to figure it out themselves. And I think to a degree, it's a group project. If your friends are
Yeah.
telling you, hey, I see this pattern,
Mm-hmm.
could you maybe change it? That is something that you should take into account, but also you need to think about it yourself. You shouldn't just jump to change it just because they
Mm-hmm.
said to change it, but you need to really collaborate, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked about in our older videos, like really, really old videos, I wouldn't say I coined the term, but I called it going on a fail quest. And what that basically means is when someone's telling you something's wrong with you or something that you're doing wrong, whatever it is, or they didn't like what you did, actually take that in and whether you think you're right or you're wrong, just say,
Mhm.
okay, I was wrong. How can I fix this? How can I better myself? How can I learn from this? Because I think a lot of people don't do this nowadays because they think that they're right, everyone else is wrong, and you'll never grow from
I
that.
feel like that's
Yeah.
the part you have to get to in therapy, and then once you get to that part, to not being so
Then
selfish,
then
and
you don't need it.
and not getting so mad like everything
Yeah.
feeling like a personal attack.
Mhm.
And I feel like once you get to that point, then maybe you don't need therapy so much.
I, and that's why I think I don't need therapy because this is something I developed by myself, or maybe I learned it subconsciously from just growing up. But like, I'll start to think like maybe I was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I did do that. Maybe I did wrong that person or said the wrong thing. What can I do so it doesn't happen again? How can I be a better person the next time? And I don't feel like that happens a lot nowadays.
Yeah. I
Most
tell
people care
myself
about
when
being
I'm
right and wrong.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I'll tell myself you were wrong in doing that. You shouldn't have done it that way. Or I'll be like, no, you know what? I'm justified in feeling that way. I
Yeah.
feel like I thought it through when I said XYZ.
Yeah, I said
And
what I said.
exactly. I have both sides. So
Mhm.
yeah.
But the thing is, I will not apologize. So don't look for that.
Uh,
All right, so I think I fixed the audio issue. That's when I popped
oh.
up. But before we get to those clips, we're gonna take a quick pause for the cause, a little bit of advertising break. So once again, if you guys are watching live or watching on the replay, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the like button as well. And make sure you hit the bell so you know when we go live and post new stuff. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my dad's channel, Finances with Uncle Nev. If you guys want to get your finances in order from someone who's been on this planet for over 80 years, he has a birthday. So he's 81 now. So yeah, make sure you guys drop him a happy birthday in the comment section of his videos. With 2 videos up right now, filming the 3rd tomorrow. So make sure you guys go over there after the show, not right now, and subscribe to Finances with Uncle Nev. That's NEV. Really appreciate if you guys can do that. Trying to grow the channel and help you guys out, find your financial stability. So like I said, we're gonna jump into those clips. I think I fixed it. If not, we're gonna go to a different question. But yeah, here we go.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. We got to the biggest fight we've ever gotten
It is
into,
not.
ever,
For us, I think it's working for
over
them. There's no
our
reason.
toilet water.
So we will come back to that next week. Sorry.
Mm.
All right. Are we becoming emotionally avoidant or less resilient in relationships due to the ease of moving on to the next person? So are we becoming emotionally avoidant or less resilient in relationships due to the ease of moving on to the next person?
I'd say no.
Say this
If-
isn't not applicable to me, so I don't know.
say it depends on the person. It depends on their ability to obtain another partner. There's gonna be people that, yeah, it's easy. You can just go out and find somebody that is new and doesn't know, whatever like bullshit you got going on. But if you're somebody that struggles with it, that's not necessarily true. And we don't really know how that breaks down, but it is definitely something that probably people are abusing. The fact that they get with one person and we have like this weird ex culture, and maybe they move on to the next person. They're like, oh yeah, my ex, and they like build this story that makes them look like the good person, when in reality, there's three sides to every story. And I definitely think that that's something we'll probably see more of in the future, in terms of people just moving on, moving on, moving on.
I will say that I think that more often now people do not speak with emotions like they should. So like if there's a problem, a lot of the time you get I'm fine though.
Yeah.
Why? No,
I'm fine.
you're not fine. Nobody's
Okay, I'm
fine.
fine.
What are you thinking? You
Nothing.
said nothing.
I'm okay.
You just had a problem with something, so please tell me. No, it's
You did.
okay. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, no, I just like I don't care if it's good or bad. It might hurt my feelings. Just tell me whatever you're feeling so that I know that you're a real person.
Right.
Like stop hiding it. Don't avoid it. Like even if I'm telling you that you did something that hurt my feelings, if you don't feel sorry, that's fine. But tell me, I don't feel bad about it. Like tell me something.
Yeah.
But I think more cases people are just like, oh no, everything's good. Everything's okay. Everything's not okay. I'm guilty of it sometimes. I'll say I'm fine, but it's usually me thinking more about whatever affected me before I speak. And I'll sometimes say that now, which I didn't do before. Before I would say I'm fine. But I think that people do avoid emotions a lot of the time nowadays because it's so easy to just be like, I won't talk to them again for a while, so they don't need to know. And then I've had a few people that I've talked to where we had a problem, and it's like, it's okay though, because I just brush everything off. It's not true. Yeah, no, I recover quickly. So next time you talk to me, I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah.
So there's no resolution to however you felt. No,
Sometimes.
I just get over it.
Yeah.
I can't just get over it. I need to talk about it first. And
Talk to your therapist.
find a therapist to talk to. Now, as long as I get it out, that's fine. You don't have to respond. I just have to tell you how I'm feeling, and then I'm good. Like I don't expect an apology because if you don't feel bad, you don't feel bad.
Right.
But if you're just like, oh, I recover, I'm ready to walk away because that means every problem you ever have, you're just gonna hold it in, and then it's all gonna boil over, and then we're gonna be a really bad situation where you throw it all out. I also know that from experience too because I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore.
Gotcha.
I've worked hard on that.
Okay. I mean, sometimes it's a slow release of those issues that you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Just slowly melt away, and it's not a problem.
And I don't always think that it's not a problem. I think it's not a problem until it happens again.
Yeah.
But when it happens again, you recall every time that it happened in the past. So I don't, yeah. I need people to share their emotions. Like I don't like I don't like bottling it up. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Over the years, as I've grown older, I have become a bit more vocal on what I'm willing to talk to people about or express. But for the most part, I still do keep things inside because it's how I've been, and it just feels right to me. Because a lot of times I feel like I don't want to burden someone with my issues. I'm like, I'm just gonna get through this myself. I don't want to,
That's
hang
what I
up with
talked about in
Does
therapy
it
because
cause
I said,
anxiety?
No.
oh, it caused me anxiety. That's why I went to therapy because I was bottling everything up. And then I was like, you know what? I thought I was going to be a burden to someone, but if I don't let it out, then I'm more of a burden because I'm not really who I am.
Yeah.
But that's not the case for everybody. I know other people who can hold it in. They realize it's not a problem. Whatever they were going through, they were just being dramatic at the moment.
Right.
So I get it. It's how you handle it afterwards.
Yeah, and sometimes it's helpful to talk to someone else that isn't actually the problem or the person you have an issue with.
Yeah.
And I do that too sometimes. I'll talk to someone else and like you said, you just gotta get it out sometimes. You know, it feels better just kind of, get it off your chest,
Yeah.
off your décolletage.
What did I miss? I'll keep talking
I
about
was teaching
décolleté.
them French words.
Oh, yes. We had a vocabulary lesson. We had a few new words. Décolletage was one of them.
That one stuck.
Yeah, we were talking about
Saying it wrong this entire time. I always say décolleté.
oh,
Gotta ask
I don't know the
expert
right
over
one.
here.
We were talking about parts of our bodies that are turn on points.
Oh.
And décolletage was one of them.
So what's your turn on point on our body?
Right here. And I'm just,
If you hit there with a hammer, the reflex. Oh my god.
Oh, the doctors. Yeah. All right. So, how do gender roles and expectations evolve or persist within modern romantic relationships? These are really tough questions.
Well,
I like that you started with a well.
I feel like this is my specialty.
Yes.
It is because especially first of all, if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm gonna hyperfixate on it until it does. But we're in a unique time now where gender roles are shifting, and we're in that sort of
Shifting or shifting back?
well, a little bit of both. Um, sort of based on the economy. There's a really fascinating theory about women's hemlines and women's hemlines, like
Bottom
on
of
your
where their
dress.
dress ends.
Okay.
And basically, it's in relation to the economy and how the economy is doing. The better the economy is doing, the higher up the hemline gets. The worse it's doing, the longer it gets.
Is this a real thing?
It's a real thing. And right now, it's getting long. It's looking like Little House on the Prairie. So
I almost wore a skirt.
I'm not gonna lie, I have never worn this dress and I've had it for a few years.
look at
I don't know why I put it on today.
So why is this? This is interesting.
I am not really the one to explain it in detail, but it's a thing, and there's other people out there who have explained it better. So just look up hemline theory.
I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating, but it's definitely true, and I can tell, especially as someone who works in retail, the dresses are getting longer. They're not going up; they're going down.
Does that mean like women are like shutting down shop? Is that kind of a
That's what I'm.
Almost like becoming more family centered
Mhm.
rather than being out and about and
304
independent. I
on the
think
streets?
anyways, I think more it's like a shift towards almost like a generational shift towards times when women didn't have anything. Women couldn't own things. And in order to survive, you had to connect yourself to a man.
Mm.
And part of connecting yourself to a man was adhering to what society wanted from women at that time. And there was no time when they truly wanted mothers to be running around in mini skirts.
So that what you're saying basically is the chickens are coming back to roost. Is that how that saying goes?
Yes and no. Because at the same time, I mean, there's that, what is that, like the 4B movement where women are like, no, I'm not having sex with men, shutting it down. So I think there's a lot of movements going on here. But we are starting to see a shift. I think the more honest conversations we have with each other and the more open and earnest connections we make, the more we can truly shift these gender roles. Men are inherently born to want to work and provide for somebody
Right.
and feel that pressure on them of what happens if I get fired? What happens if I don't have any money to support my family? That's got to be a lot of pressure. But women aren't inherently born to do all the backbreaking domestic labor as well.
Pressure is made for shoulders, not for hips.
Sure. So it's starting to be a shift, and especially as I mean, there's a bunch of different types of feminism out here, but true feminism is that you care about everybody, and that includes men, and that includes their feelings, and that includes what's going on with them as well. And you have these honest conversations to overturn these stereotypical gender roles that nobody asked for in the first place. They were built to serve a purpose, whether it was religious, economical, whatever. But that purpose, we don't need them for that anymore. It's not going to kill anything if you let your husband stay at home with the kids and he's really good at nurturing the kids. And you're like, well, I'm not that great. I'm going to go off to the corporate world, whatever. It's not a crime anymore. And also, that was sort of the thing is part of that was it was a social crime to be a woman out on the loose, to be a career girl,
Husband.
Yes. Now it's not a crime. It's okay. And people can make their families what they want them to be. They can make their homes what they want them to be. So it's going to be really fascinating to see what it's like, 5-10 years down the road, what that looks like, what these relationships look like.
I think also because we're in a day and age where nobody really does anything themselves, so you can just hire somebody. So it's like,
Task
who
rabbit.
really cares about gender roles? You
Uber
just hire
Eats.
everybody to do everything for you. You get your laundry done,
Yeah.
food, fix your house. Everybody rents now, so it's
Yeah.
like it's not even like you have a house where you have to do the yard work
yeah.
and like.
People have gotten incredibly lazy.
Yeah.
No shade to anyone out there, but like it kind of blows my mind that people like pay someone to get their groceries. Now I'm not saying I love going to the grocery store, but that's like one of the lines in the sand that I've drawn. Like I'm not paying someone to get my groceries.
I only do it. The only times that I do it is if I'm sick and I can't physically go to the store because I don't want to make anyone else sick, or like last minute I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner and I need something so I can't leave the dinner. Like
I'm a hermit and don't like to leave the house, and that's part of the reason why I'm homeless. No, I'm just I call it DoorDash debt.
it's so
I call it
expensive.
DoorDash debt. I think I coined the term. I'm not sure,
Okay.
but yeah.
It gets expensive. I'm too cheap to
Same
do
here.
it.
That's why I don't do a lot of things. I don't partake in a lot of these little easy to do things.
I don't know how anybody has any money.
All
Yeah.
these service charges on top of everything.
Even if you pay for no service charges, you still pay for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon does have a nice grocery delivery though, that if you don't have the subscription, it's like $5 delivery fee. Over, I think, $35.
But isn't there still a tip you got in there too?
You can tip if you're a good person.
I hope you.
I
you
would
tipping.
not
Yeah.
see. That's the thing is I could never order and not tip. I
Yeah.
feel
I always
terrible.
tip well.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
tip well, so I count that into the cost of getting it. So it's more so like it's outside of my budget because I'm never gonna spend.
Yeah.
I say never, but I have done it. $50 for food from Noodles and Company is insane.
Well, yeah, that's
For a
definitely insane.
noodle.
For noodles, I can make my own buttered noodles. Like no, I'm not. I'll drive my 5 minutes to
Get
Noodles
some
and Company.
Campbell's.
Right. So anything. Campbell's is a service fee.
Yeah.
Why not?
No. Go to the store and get some Campbell's. You
Yeah.
probably got one down the street that's
I
got.
ordered from Noodles and Company just this week, and just I guess like your base noodles is like $11 and change.
Ridiculous.
I
Then
don't
to add
understand how
meat-
it's a restaurant.
To add meat,
don't
it's like
either.
$4, and the bowl's only this big.
Uh,
So how much meat are you really adding in there? It's $4 worth when it's chicken.
There's nothing. You $4 buys me a whole piece of ham. I
Yeah.
can. No.
And this is why I keep talking about, man. When I get my money right, I'm out of this country, man. I'm going somewhere else where my money goes a lot
I say the same thing all the time, but I feel like I'm stuck here.
I could work from anywhere and still am here for some
I
reason.
don't know why you're still here.
I don't know what to do. Somebody tell me what to do.
Oh, gee. Talk to your therapist.
I can't even get out of here. I'm working on it every year. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
It's getting too expensive to live here. It
Mhm.
costs too much just to go to work.
But that's why we're stuck here because we can't get out because we have to pay to make money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's part of the systems. How to get you.
Right. But also to go off of the gender roles thing, and what's interesting, you said the hemline thing. What I'm noticing, or I've been watching, politics and stuff like that, of course. The whole thing with women who are unmarried needing to have proof to vote. The whole thing, whatever they were trying to do there. I'm like, so wait, this also plays into the women
Proof to
going.
vote?
Yeah, they were talking about if you're unmarried or something like that, you needed to have more proof of identity to vote. Like whereas other women who are married can bring in like a marriage certificate or
Is
something.
this happening now? Or is it back then?
They're talking about some kind of rule change for women who are unmarried.
Why?
Yeah.
Do we know why?
Well, of course we know why. Because those types of men who subscribe to our current system are wanting women to go back to that whole traditional wife situation where they're property. And we're watching it happen real time where they're trying to get it back there.
Well, I gotta pause for a second because I don't think men have really ever thought of women as property. I mean, that seems a bit
So
disingenuous.
the only reason why
Well,
I agree with some of that is JD Vance, he made a comment about his wife working. He's like, no, she shouldn't be working. She should be giving birth to my children or something like that.
right.
Mhm.
It
That's
And
not. It's saying he wants her to, play a certain role in their family. You know.
right, but here's the thing. It's not that we're saying that these men are sitting down and they're like, yeah, my wife is an object, just like this candle over here. No, it's more in how they talk about their wives, how they talk about women in general, in terms of taking away their bodily autonomy and trying to say, you're meant to serve me, you're meant to do something to make me happy, not, well, you're a human being too. And if we come together, we can do things to make each other mutually happy. No. So, in that sense, the way you would use an object for whatever you need it for, you give it
it
its
has
set
to serve its
purpose.
purpose.
Right. And then outside of that, you're not running bubble baths for your candle
Mhm.
holders. You're not romancing your candle holders. So, you give your fellow men too much credit, by the way. But
I don't think so.
these types of men are being fed this idea. It's the same way, like, when people look back at their grandparents and they say, oh, our grandparents' marriage was so wonderful. It was amazing.
They were never gonna leave each other because they were never allowed to
Right.
leave.
That woman had no choice.
She was
No choice. And you're romanticizing it. So when it comes time to talk about the truth, it's hard for you to accept it because you're like, oh, well, then I don't have to think about my grandfather in a horrible light and my grandmother as a victim. And, ooh, uh, but it's the reality. And we have to focus on reality. And there are women who want to take us back to that place because they don't fully understand what it was like. All those women online who are like, oh, I want to be a child wife, I want to be a sit-home wife. Feminism was created for those women too, to be able to decide this is what I want for my life.
Aren't they deciding that to stay home and be a tried wife, traditional
Right.
wife?
But the alternative without feminism is you have to do it. You don't get a choice. It's what you want. So, of course, those who like it are going to be like, yay, but those who hate it, they're going to be miserable. We deserve choice, just like men get choice as well. And this whole.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me stop real quick.
Sure.
Can you tell me or outline one or two examples of rights that women don't have nowadays that men do have?
Do you want legal rights or do you want social rights?
Legal. Talking legal.
You want rights that women have?
Yeah, it seems to me you're saying that there's certain things women can't do or they're not allowed to do. So I'm just asking you, so what rights do women have, or sorry, that men have that women don't have in this day and age?
The right to their body. There's a woman right now who is
yeah.
brain dead and she's being forced to be an incubator because of the new abortion laws that have been put in place. Her family wants to let her go and the state won't let them, and they have no say. The state has complete control over her body.
I think the baby's only 9 weeks old. So
Yes.
this is like months that she has to lay there.
Yes.
But is that I asked you, what right does that men have that women don't have?
So men
the
don't
right
carry
to
the baby.
bodily autonomy.
Yeah.
If a man, well, I mean, we know men can't get pregnant, but
You said can or can't?
can't.
Okay, just-
But if a man were, well, it's kind of hard because they can't get pregnant. But
Well, hold
there's
on.
no
Can or
situation.
can't?
Can't.
Okay, I'm making sure. I keep
Open
make
ears.
sure.
But there's no at point
Hmm.
currently or previously where a man is going to be forced to stay alive only to provide something to society, because they want women to go back to having children because they need workers.
Well, and the birth rates are considerably low right now. So right now they're saying that, which goes back to the women skirts and everything. They're saying that we don't have enough children. So now they're literally trying to bribe women to have babies. Like,
Right, because
yeah,
the birth rates are dropping.
yeah.
And
But, go ahead.
to go on, they're putting these laws into place because They know that there's going to be some tension. They see the women not wanting to have children. They see the men wanting to have connection with women but not getting it. They're doing things like trying to take away porn in order to stir the pot and to frustrate people. Now, this doesn't mean every man's going to go out there and assault somebody, but they're wanting to light a fire under those who would. And this is why they're putting laws into place where, in the case of an assault, they don't care. You got to carry that baby. This is why they don't make exceptions for things like that, because they never cared about women to begin with.
Okay, so I'm glad you actually said all of that, and I'm just gonna kind of like tell you that you're wrong, because the thing is, men also don't have bodily autonomy, and that goes straight to the draft. The draft is still active, and if there's anyone that breaks out, any male that is under, or sorry, above the age of 18 and below whatever the age is, you are now conscripted to now go give your life for your country, whether you want to or not. And if you happen to leave the country, run away, you can be arrested for that, thrown into jail. So that's why I was asking you, what laws or rights do women have, or sorry, that men have that women don't have? So
Women can't be drafted
we,
now, though.
but you guys still don't fight in the front lines, though. You guys aren't out there.
But you can't compare
I'm just talking
war
bodily
to
autonomy.
giving.
So my opinion is that the draft applied at a certain time and abortion rights apply right now. So they're
Right.
two different times. But yes,
They still
we're
have to sign up. There's
yeah.
But the other thing is, you have to look at why women weren't even included in the draft previously,
That's
because
simple, but go ahead.
of gender roles. They were expecting the women to stay home. They were expecting the women to handle
Someone had to
things
take care of the kids.
domestically.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm not wrong, by the way.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna come back to that. Go ahead.
I'm not wrong.
Okay.
But you can't compare the two.
Mhm.
Telling somebody you, because of your gender, whether you have a fully functioning brain or not, you have to carry another life. You have to stay alive. You have to suffer. That's not something that men have to go through. And their bodies aren't up for auction every election time. Yes, okay, you've got the draft. But you know what? You got people who dodge the draft. You got people who are able to get away. And we're not actively needing to draft people 24/7. Women's bodies are able to produce children at any point if you're fertile. So at any point, this could be you. You could even want the child. You could be like, yes, me and my partner, we have come together. We want this child. They're wanting to criminalize it. They're wanting to criminalize miscarriages. They're wanting to criminalize abortions in all situations, to the point where even if you want to have a child, it's dangerous for you. Not to mention, we're not having actual medical professionals make laws surrounding this. It's an old man who probably couldn't find a woman's clit if you put a gold star on it. And that is a huge problem. And all that we're asking is for medical professionals and for people who actually genuinely care. Men get to have,
You know,
They're-
all medical professionals aren't men, right? There's women out there too.
okay, I said medical professionals.
Yeah, but you also said medical professionals that are men who can't find a woman's clit
No, no,
are
no, no,
making
no. I
these
said
rules.
lawmakers.
So you're talking
Lawmakers.
RFK.
There's women lawmakers too. Are there not?
So
They probably
I'm
couldn't
gonna
find it either.
there are men and women who are putting anti-abortion laws, so they're both doing it. However, I think what it is more so where they are born and raised. I think that is the part of it that makes the biggest difference, because they're pushing the Bible as the reason why. They're
Right.
pushing that these go with their their beliefs, right? But in actuality, they're not taking into account everyone's beliefs, male, female. It's just what they want. That's what I'm going to say. I disagree with both the draft and I disagree with taking away the rights of anyone to get an abortion, because I'm going to include trans people too, because they get pregnant too. So they're taking away the rights of multiple people. And that's what I disagree with. I don't think that it has to do with any specific gender. I think it has to do with conservatives.
Yeah.
In my personality, they want it to be how it used to be: women at home raising children, men out fighting wars, and that's just what they're pushing. They
Agreed. But I do want to throw, like I said, I said I would wait. I do want to throw a challenge question back at you for what you said earlier. Which gender do you think would have been a smart choice to send to war then? Because you're saying that because men are men and men went to war and women because they have children they stayed home. So if there was a choice, if you could make that choice, what choice would you have made to send to war?
First of all, I wouldn't have had wars. They're pointless.
Yeah, I don't want to fight anyway.
Have worse.
But I'm going to throw it back at you because your question is actually very disingenuous.
Is it?
It is.
Don't you want to send your best chance to war? Who's going to make sure that keeps your country safe?
We got on the path of talking about, you asked me, what rights do men have that women don't?
Right.
I started on this path. I start talking to you. You disagree.
You said about bodily autonomy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you start comparing abortions to war.
To death.
And now,
To death.
you're back on this whole war thing.
Well, like I said, because you touched on a point that I wanted to come back to, which I said I would come back to because I wanted you to finish your thought process.
I think both do apply to death of someone in some kind of
I'm
way.
trying to figure out where this is going, where the relevance is. So I'm going to say
what I'm saying.
I would send men to war.
No,
Now
I'm
what?
just asking you
Just
a
going.
challenging question to see where your
I would send both genders to war, to be honest,
I would too.
because we all know that there are men who are weak. We all know that there are women that are really strong. You would
But
want
what's
to
the
send.
majority, though?
I don't know.
You don't
So,
know the majority of which sex is stronger?
well,
No.
here's the thing. There's a woman who recently just finished some challenge that takes multiple days. She's in the military too, and she beat a bunch of men. So, and not that there's more of them.
Okay.
I'm just
Thank
saying
you.
there are women out there that
Yeah.
are undercut who
Mhm.
have the potential, but because they are not men, they're not seen as strong. So there are more women out there that could do it. We just will never know because
But is that the majority or the minority?
we don't know. I'm saying we don't know because some women are not given a chance to prove how strong they are. Men are generally seen as strong, so they get the chance to prove how strong they are. So I'm just saying we won't actually know because there's women, there's weak men, there's weak women, there's strong women, strong men.
But biologically speaking,
There are women who, so we have hermaphrodites as well. So I'm just saying we won't actually, there's no way to measure it because women don't always work out to be as strong as men. So
Generally speaking, I think we can say that men are physically stronger than women. Now what? That's where I'm
If
trying to
that's
figure out
what
where
I
this is
said.
going.
Right, like,
But
what
that
do
is-
you want
why
from
are we
this?
talking?
I'm
Why
just
are
saying
we
I don't know.
comparing them?
What do you
you're
want
saying
from
certain
this?
things, so I'm going to challenge them.
But they were
You're not
challenging
actually
each other with two
challenging, though.
different.
I am.
They
You
were two
said
different
you talked about
subjects.
bodily autonomy, right?
Yes.
And you said that women give birth, or they're told that they can or they can't, or this lady is on some kind of life support or whatever it
Right.
was, right? So then I challenge you by saying men also don't have bodily autonomy because
Okay,
they
that's
they get
relevance.
conscripted for war. That's
Okay,
my example.
But how often in someone's lifetime would they be drafted versus
Look
how
at Ukraine
vulnerable
right
But
now.
that's
Ukraine and
women are?
Russia.
But that's why I brought up it's a different time because at one time all men were being shipped off and killed.
Right.
Now women are being killed.
Ukraine, Russia,
But
China.
we're about to go to war again with everything happened with Trump's airplane. I guarantee something's going to happen in the next few years. So I'm just saying difference in time is at one point hundreds of thousands of men were dying. And at this point women are dying because they don't have a choice. I'm just saying both genders don't have a choice in certain points in time. That's my opinion.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I wanted you to see.
But we should
And that's
be
that was the
evolving,
original
not
question.
just
Yeah.
That was the original question. What rights or laws, whatever it is, that apply to men that women aren't privy to?
I do think more laws align with men, but it's only because time in the past. It's old laws that haven't been rewritten or changed or anything like that. But I can see both sides of it because yes, men are dying and women are dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just generationally because we are in the time that we are in right now. Before Roe v. Wade, different everything's different times. So I think low income people don't have a choice at all. That's what it is.
Agreed.
If you have no money, you don't really have a choice. Middle income don't either. Rich people can go anywhere and get an abortion. Rich people can pay all the money to take her off life support.
That's another point. The low income people, I don't have the exact numbers, but I would venture to guess low income people are probably the majority of what make up our armed forces
Mhm.
because they don't have the choices or the chances to make more of themselves.
they called the poor man's lottery.
Yep.
There you go.
And so the only way to have a life is to enlist.
Yeah.
Because you'll never get another chance to be anything better.
Mhm.
So I just think it's a matter of people are not treated fair in general if you're low income or middle income. The only people who have a good life are rich people. But to get rich takes so much unless you've inherited it. And the people running the country have inherited most of the money, if not all the money.
Right.
So that's why we are in the place that we're in, because we're allowing the rich people to run the country, which is why we get no bodily autonomy if we're pregnant, raped, whatever, to carry this baby. You have no choice because you have no money.
Yeah, and here's an interesting fact, which this is based off of like 2 or 3 years ago. There weren't, sorry, the first fact is that I think all except for like 3 or 4 people in Congress are all millionaires. But if you look at their salaries, they're about 150, $175,000
Because that's
a
not where
year.
they make their money.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah, sorry.
And then also on top of that, none of them, they all pretty much have children.
Mhm.
None of them are in the armed services.
Not one.
Zero. So that tells you something right there.
They
you know?
dodge the draft because they have the money to dodge a draft.
Exactly.
Why do you think we don't see Melania Trump right now? Because what's happening? Immigration laws, right? We're kicking out all these people who shouldn't be in the country.
I think isn't she a citizen now, or she's been a citizen?
But
I don't
he's
know.
been sending people who are citizens out too.
True, but
So,
she's not. You know.
but that's why you don't see her all over the place with him right now.
Mhm.
Because if she starts popping up, everybody's gonna be like, "But wait, you're married to an immigrant, so and you've been married to multiple immigrants. Your kids technically could have dual citizenship."
True.
So we don't see her because he's rich. He can hide her away, and no one has to talk about how he has
He's
immigrant family
president,
members.
unfortunately.
But yet he'll still deport all these other people from all these other countries.
Mhm.
So it's all a matter of who has the money, what they want to do, and they are controlling us.
No. Yeah, I mean that's because they're eating the cats and the dogs. So.
And the babies.
Gotta love it. Oh, and he had MS-13 in print on his hand, right? It was printed right there in the picture.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
it's all about what they want. They want more children so they can serve the country
Mhm.
and be. That's why they changed the Board of Education. The Board of Education originally was designed to get people to learn a certain way to become peons so they can do all the jobs that they don't want to do. So if you dismantle the Board of Education, who is now trying to empower us to be better, now we can go back to teaching these kids what we want so that they fall in line to do the jobs that we want. It's all about control. That's
Yeah.
all it is. More babies mean more people who can work, which means more low income people, which
taxes.
means more taxes for the low income people so rich can stay rich and poor can stay poor. So I
Well put.
yeah. And that's where it goes back to roles. There are no roles anymore because it's all about who's controlling us. If we're all able to work, then that means more money in the pockets. So the whole deal right now is to make more jobs so more people can work no matter male or female. But if women are pregnant, then we have more kids, means more people who can work, fall in line with everybody else. So I think gender roles don't really exist anymore. People are trying to fight to have them exist, but women aren't going to stay in the kitchen anymore because they have to work. Men aren't going to be providers because women are providing. So I feel like they don't really exist, but you can establish your own in your own household.
Thank you.
I think that goes back to that.
But yeah, before we close out, 'cause we're getting to that time again. I also make sure I didn't cut you off. If there's anything else you wanted to say or add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, appreciate you guys for watching tonight. We got into a little bit of a heated discussion, but I thought it was kind of fun. It can always be, butterflies and everything else here. but
Rainbows.
yeah, butterflies and rainbows. Yeah.
A little friendly fire.
That's what you have to have sometimes, because that's how you get points across, and that's how you get people thinking. I may not be right all the time, you may not be right all the time, but you know what? We mesh our ideas together, and maybe we might go back to Google or pick up a book and read something and learn more about what that person was talking about and say, oh, you know what? That person was right. They had a point there. Maybe I should, learn something about that, because everything I hear from you, I don't say everything I check, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe she had something there. Let me learn about that. Let me go read about that and see what's going on, because I don't think I'm always right.
That goes back to self-reflection. Good job.
Exactly. So I hope everyone out there doesn't think they're always right as well. So if someone says something you don't agree with, take it for what it is and see if you can learn about it. That's the kind of takeaway about all of this. It's really why we have this podcast, so you can hear what people think, our experiences, and kind of measure them up to your own experiences, and then see where you can go from there, so you can grow and you can learn. But like I said, that's my final thought. And I am Sean, 41 from the TDG podcast. And to my left, we have
Brittany Renee. Do I have to say everything again? 37 single.
Just regular Renee over here, 38, and also single-ish.
Actually, 34 and married.
before married. All right, everyone. So, like I said, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe, like, and the bell button. And we will see you guys next Saturday. We should have a bigger cast next Saturday. We're hearing a lot of people saying they're going to be coming next Saturday. So, we will see you guys next Saturday. Thanks for joining in, and see you next time.